Hello, my friends. Jeff here. Today, I would love to talk with you about Dinacharya, Ayurvedic morning practices and practices throughout the day to create more stability, more ease, and more presence. So, Ayurveda is such an intelligent science. It's been around for thousands of years and it is alive with the wisdom of each human individual who knows their nature. And through that wisdom, what we've come to understand is that creating new behaviors, it's like you have to break up old cement of the old behaviors and patterns and replace it with a new cement. And so, what you have to do is you have to wake up the mind that is responsible for behaviors and patterns and start the process of creating new behaviors and patterns. And doing this from a place of consciousness, we can create routines and practices and integrate them in our life in a way that facilitates balance and livelihood. So I'm going to share my screen with you and share with you several Ayurvedic practices, and I'll explain them to you. And at the end, I'll ask you and give you some instruction on choosing your own and letting you get started with your own Ayurvedic Dinacharya. So Ayurvedic rituals, it's a daily routine as a way of creating your way of being for that day. In Ayurveda, Dharma says that it's not what we do, it's how we are as we do it. And what that means is how present are you throughout your life? And doing these practices is a great way of cultivating connection to self and more presence. So these are in no particular order. These are things you do as soon as you wake up, and you can also integrate them throughout the rest of your day. I find it so valuable to schedule 30 to 45 minutes, even an hour of time for my daily dinacharya. And I keep it very simple. So even though you see a long list here, I only do 3 or 4 of those things. And I do that so that I can stay consistent. Consistency is absolutely the most important tool for these daily rituals. All right, so first one, I'd say the first thing I do is I come down here and um, Ayurvedic, I do the Ayurvedic oral hygiene, meaning I tend to the hygiene in my mouth. Digestion begins in our mouth. The digestion of our food really begins the moment the food touches our tongue. So what I do is first thing I do when I wake up, I go to the bathroom and I start scraping my tongue. And Ayurveda has a tongue scraper. It's made out of copper. You can get one online or get one at your local natural store. And you scrape your tongue and you remove the toxic waste from any from any poor digestion or any inconsistent digestion that you might have had throughout the night. And so what this stuff is called is ama. It's called toxins. And it shows up as a layer of white kind of gunk, kind of stuff on your tongue, and it shows symptoms of poor digestive health. So even if I'm having good digestion, I still feel a little bit of ama on there. And now after scraping my tongue for years, I have to scrape my tongue. It's non-negotiable. For some people, it's flossing. For me, it's scraping my tongue. I do not feel clean without a clean tongue. So you might have seen this white layer film on your own tongue or somebody else's. It's there, trust me, even if your tongue looks good. Tongue health is a very good indicator of digestive health. The next thing I do after slightly brushing my teeth is I will drink warm water with lemon. I drink a big glass of warm water with lemon because this warm water, it starts facilitating my digestive process. It wakes up the fire in my belly and it sets me up shortly after for a bowel movement. Ayurveda says that it is absolutely essential that we maintain the cycle of life within our life, meaning that I need to, as much as I love to eat food, I need to be a good vessel so that I can excrete the waste and get rid of all this that's not serving me. So it's really important to have a bowel movement first thing in the morning because we don't want to be carrying around waste from the day before. It's just holding us, it's creating this heaviness and low energy environment. So it's better to get rid of it. And it's part of the cycle, and it is part of our nature to receive and eject. And that is what we do. We are poop making machines. So it's very important to set things up well, to have a good bowel movement. And part of that is also eating a light dinner. For me, it's eating a light dinner and having at least 3 hours between dinner time and before I go to bed so that my body can digest the food while I'm awake instead of disrupting my sleep with the digestive process during the night. Very important for getting a good night's sleep is having your food digestive. Eating late is really detrimental to good sleep. So that helps me with the bowel movement and removing waste. And then, so usually I will meditate before my bowel movement because it takes a little while for that lemon water to do the job. What you can also do is oil pull. So oil pulling is another great opportunity for oral hygiene. And you can use coconut oil or olive oil or sesame oil. It really depends on your dosha and as to what oil you use. And you'll take in about a tablespoon of oil, about a half mouthful of oil, and swash it around like mouthwash for 5 to 10 minutes. And what the oil does is at the chemical level, the oil is attracting. It's attracting and pulling all the toxins away from your teeth and your gums and your tongue. And it's pulling it into the oil so that when you spit it out, by all means, do not swallow it. When you spit it out, it goes into the toilet, or preferably in the toilet or on outside on the ground is where you would spit it out because it can gunk up your sink, your drains. So that is really good for oral hygiene. I highly recommend that. It is not something I do daily, particularly, but I have liked it when I did do it consistently. Another beautiful practice is to squirt rose water into the eyes. I could see this one as being a great practice for when I've just woken up and I want to refresh my face and wake up my eyes so that I see clearly and so that the sleepiness starts to leave my face. This is not one I do consistently, but I have experienced rose water and it's very refreshing. Meditation, that is my go-to practice. I tongue scrape, I drink, and I meditate. Those are boom, boom, boom. That happens in sequence. And then usually I'm ready for my bowel movement. That's how my Dinacharya works. And I meditated for just about every day for the last 5 years, and it has changed my life. I can make a whole course on meditation. So just know that meditation is it's a great one if you're thinking about it. Another thing to do as you're doing your oral hygiene and before you really get out and do exercise, a great thing to do is a neti pot. A neti pot is, it holds water, ideally warm water with a saline solution, so some salt in there as well. And you drain your nasal cavity from one end to the other and do the other side. And this is great because our eyes, our nose, and our tongue and our mouth are all connecting in the same nasal cavity. And so this is clearing up any waste and any toxins that have built up in there, allowing us to be very clear. If you do the neti pot, do research these before you do them. If you do the neti pot, you be sure to use oil. Coconut oil is great. And line the inside of your nostrils with this oil so that you introduce something with humidity back into your nostrils. Otherwise, they tend to dry out. So the oil is really good after neti pot. Exercise, really good. Traditionally, asana practice is the yogic form of exercise, but today we are not limited. You can go for a walk, go for a run, do calisthenics, go to the gym, all these things to move the body and let the body be used instead of sitting at a desk all day like you might already do. So use your body loves to move. And walking would be my favorite exercise to offer you because walking is a great way to exercise the lymph. And the lymph is an organ that sits between your skin and your deeper tissues. And the lymph is like a liquid, gelatinous, all-encompassing organ that is responsible for your immune system and removing toxic and flushing toxins from the body. So the lymph is super important. Research that if you are unfamiliar with what the lymph does. And walking is one of the best exercises for moving the lymph in our body and keeping a healthy immune system. The next thing that would be a great thing to do is Abba Yoga, self-massage, and I've created a video specifically for Abba Yoga. You can watch that and practice that. It is connecting to your body at a very nice and intimate level, and there are numerous benefits to Abba Yoga. After that, if you used oil for your Abba Yoga, then you might want to take a warm shower. Warm in the winter time and cool in the summertime. Ayurveda is all about maintaining a sense of ease, sukha. Sukha is the Sanskrit word for ease or just relax. And what that means is no cold showers, nothing bracing. And even though I do like cold showers as a way to give myself a dose of stress to build up my strength, Ayurveda would say do something to create ease. So that's a part of this morning practice as well. Next thing, yeah, your breakfast is absolutely a part of your Dinacharya. Eat your breakfast with conscious intent of this being an offering to your temple, your vessel that'll fuel you. It's better to eat a light breakfast. Ayurveda says leave a third of your stomach for food, a third for liquids, and a third for air so that you have room to digest. If you've ever eaten so much food, you realize it's really hard to digest, and you might even get constipated from that because your digestive system is overwhelmed. Okay, so I think I've covered all of these here. I want you to pick one that you really love and two that you want to try out. What you're going to do is you're going to schedule out for the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So look at the day, pick the day that is 2 weeks from today, circle it, and say, this is when I get to reevaluate. The number one that you pick, you must do for those 2 weeks. The other two, if at the midpoint you feel like they aren't really working for you, you can try another one and then evaluate again at week 2. The importance of doing these consistently, and by the way, ideally 42 days. 42 days, Ayurveda says, is the time to start to create really a new habit and to let that habit settle in. Like I use the cement analogy, it begins to dry and become concrete so that you can rely on it. You no longer have to use so much willpower for this new habit. So do that 2-week process, pick your favorite 3, especially your favorite 1, write them down, schedule them out, schedule the time you need to set your alarm and get started. I'm so excited to hear how it works for you.
Namaste, my friend. Happy Jack here. I trust you enjoyed this video. Have you ever considered getting certified as a yoga teacher? I've created a free training video that explains the 5 most important factors when you're choosing a yoga school to study with. Now, if you're already a yoga teacher or you're curious about becoming one, you're going to love this. To get access to the free training, just click the link in the description below. Namaste.